Hi everyone, I'm Devon Coombs, CPA, MBA, ex-Google and Deloitte, and I wanted to welcome you to my San Jose State Finance 170 course. It's my honor to be able to teach this to you. It's been a passion project of mine to convert and explain and translate the concepts of finance from a personal and corporate perspective. I've worked on deals that have been in the multi-billion dollar ranges, but I also learned finance, honestly, most importantly, from being homeless and learning how to manage my own finances from a personal finance lens. And so my personal view is that the tools don't change, just the zeros do. And in this class, you're going to be able to learn all of those tools of corporate finance and personal finance through a series of 3 parts. And so we're going to be anchoring this off the book I have written called The 10 Laws of Finance. The reason that I wrote these materials rather than using a traditional textbook is because these are the stories and materials I wish I had when I was in your shoes. I spent hundreds of hours putting these together so you could have the most valuable information for you to take away and succeed in your own careers and your own lives. I have had a lot of failures in my life. I owned a recording studio that failed when I was 18. I had struggled with homelessness. I had my mom pass away when I was young and had never met my father. And I struggled a lot in my early career. But I've also had a lot of successes. I was the head of the AI deals desk for accounting at Google Cloud. I was the chief of staff for the controllership department at Google Cloud, and I was the marketplace controller. I've been at Deloitte and top consulting firms, and now run my own practice and partner with great firms like PCG and advise startups like TA-Bot. And I've taken all of those stories and tried to write them in a really digestible way that's based off of the learning objectives of this course. I've written a way that I hope will stick for you all, that you all find really valuable. And more importantly, I've made it free for you all. I remember textbooks being very expensive when I was in college. I've made it free for you all. And my only ask from all of you is to please leave reviews, comments, or give me feedback to make it more impactful for you all in the next generation. Or when it is formally published and released, to share it with your friends or encourage them to buy copies so that this message can spread. Because I am really passionate about the concepts of finance not being gated just for the financial elite. I believe financial literacy is important for everybody. I wish I knew these skills, as it would have made my life and my career much more profitable and much more impactful. And so I hope you understand that I'm coming from this at a real place of caring for you all. And I will show you throughout this class that the real reason I have entered this profession as a lecturer is because of my passion for teaching. I was very successful in my career, and I still am, but I am really passionate about making sure I can help as many people as possible. So I hope you find these resources extremely valuable. There is also a traditional textbook you can follow along with as well, and I'll leave it up to you, whatever you prefer to use. So let me tell you a little more about the resources. In your Canvas shell, there will be a syllabus. And so you can find all the information here in the syllabus. And so please look at the syllabus for all of these details and how they relate to your specific class. So the other resources at your disposal, we have the 10 Laws of Finance. That's the book that we'll be going over chapter by chapter. I'll walk you through how that will work for your course specifically. And it's explicit in your syllabus. The second piece is the 10 Laws of Finance Master Resource Index. And so this has all of the resources you'll need to understand the technical topics of this class. It will have slides, videos, practice problems, and your case studies. So you'll want to use that in tandem with the actual book. And then the third piece is the actual book itself has a technical appendix for each chapter that will cover the textbook-like elements of the chapter. So my hope here is that you can learn through the stories, learn the techniques by applying them, really integrate your learning through practice problems, through case studies that we'll discuss in the class, and through videos. I tried to make resources available to all of you, including AI resources, so that any kind of learning style can succeed in this course. And that book is written in 3 parts: where you are, where you're going, and how you get there. And so where you are, it's answering the question, do you really know where you are or where the business you are assessing is currently from an honest perspective? Do you understand the cash flows? Do you understand the strengths and the weaknesses? Will you be able to dissect those numbers in a way that will add real value? Because truth is the baseline for everything, and finance really accounting and financial statement analysis is the fundamental aspect of truth for business. Once we complete that, we're going to go to where you're going. And where you're going is really forecasting out what your goals are. Like, where do you want to be in 1 year? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want that business to be? And the way we do that in business is quantitatively. And so I'll teach you the basic skills for forecasting and comparisons of forecast versus actuals that you would be doing in an FP&A role. And then we'll be covering topics of time value of money so you can understand valuation principles for real assets and financial assets. And lastly, we'll discuss how you get there. And so what that really focuses on is how do you make the decisions that bridge your current reality where you are to where you want to get, the future reality. And in order to do that, you need to use these concepts of risk and reward trade-off, capital budgeting, and so many other useful skills that we'll learn. I'm going to frame this course in a really unique way. And so I've written this book, The 10 Laws of Finance. There's a narrative portion for every chapter. So the class will be every single week, we'll cover a new chapter. There's a narrative portion where you understand how I've applied these principles to my own life, and I've applied them to my personal finances, but also my businesses and the businesses I've advised. Each week, we'll cover the narrative journey with a lecture so you can all understand it with a Q&A. Each chapter has a technical appendix, which is all of the necessary information you need from a textbook in order to understand this at a college level. So you'll understand the story, how I've applied it to my own life, then you're going to understand how you can apply it to your own life, and then the technical skills behind it. That will be 1 day of lecture. The next day of lecture, we'll be going over practice problems. Each part of the book has a companion index, and that companion index has videos, slides, and practice problems, and also case studies. And that second section of our class, because our class is 2 days a week, we'll be covering those practice problems, and we'll be doing live workshops in class. My recommendation to you all is to work on those practice problems before you show up to class and work on those case studies before you show up to class in order for you to have an informed discussion. Your grade will have 3 components. 10% of your grade is going to be a refresher of algebra and business calculus for finance and business. This is a quantitative course, and you need to make sure that you are up to speed with the mathematics in order to take this seriously. 60% of your grade is going to be examinations, and 30% of your grade is going to be workshops. So it's 10% for that mathematical testing component that you're going to take at the beginning of the class, 60% for examinations, and 30% in-class workshops. 60% of your grades is going to be examination focused. You will have 4 exams in this class, 1 exam after each section of the book. I don't do Scantrons. I don't do online tests. They'll all be in person, all be written with some multiple choice elements that you'll fill in so I can make sure you all understand the concepts. So the first part of the book is focused on accounting and financial statement analysis in the first 3 chapters. After we finish those first 3 chapters, all of those materials are open for testing. And so you'll have a test. There will be 3 exams because there's 3 sections of the book, and then you will have a cumulative final. If you finish the 3 exams with strong marks, we will drop the final. You still need to show up, but then you don't really have to worry about your grade on the final if you're happy with your grade in the class at that point in time. This is to give you flexibility. I don't do makeup exams. So if you're sick, you can just take the final instead if you miss the exam. Or if you aren't happy with one of your results, you can take the final. This also rewards students who are able to show up and succeed on the first 3 exams because you've proven that you've mastered these concepts. The last 30% is in-class workshops. So every week we will either be doing live practice problems from the resources in the book index, or we will be doing live workshops. And so you'll see in the 10 Laws of Finance, I have a resource index, which includes a workshop for each of the sections and each of the chapters in the books and each of the laws. So what you can do, and what I strongly encourage you to do, is to practice that as your homework. I am not going to grade your homework. I'm going to trust that you're going to do that and you're going to show up. And if you show up and participate, there will be a live QR code and survey that you need to fill out for each class. And if you show up and give a strong effort, that will be 100% for the grade. If you show up and you do poor effort or you didn't participate, you'll get 50%. If you don't show up, or it's obvious you didn't study at all, or you weren't paying attention, or you didn't prepare for the workshop, or you hadn't read that chapter that week, you'll get 0%. So that'll be 30% of your grade. After each exam, we'll have a grade check-in where there'll be 1 week where you can discuss with me your grade in office hours. I will always have office hours available. If you email me, we'll find time to meet throughout. But if you want to discuss your grades, we'll have a 1-week window after each exam. Then I close the grading before that. So if you have any questions about your grades, you do it within 1 week of an exam, and then that's locked. The grades will be locked after that because I will file those exams and we'll focus on the next section. That's in order to help it be efficient and fair for everyone involved. I really appreciate having you in class, and I'm really looking forward to us spending this time together, learning together, and exploring how the laws of finance will impact both your personal life and your business expertise and professions. You all have a great day, and I'm looking forward to a great semester. Thank you very much, and goodbye.